When I set up my camera to start filming, I didn't think that you'd be able to see all of this. I told myself that I wouldn't start decorating for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, and then I broke. I just fucking broke. And the other day I spent way too much money, and I need to get it out of the frame because all I want to do is start decorating. I have a problem. I bought a lot of stuff, y'all. Can you see the rest of it? No. I also already told you guys that I would film a video of me decorating my apartment, so I'm gonna keep all of this in bags. I'm probably gonna hide it from myself because if I don't, I'm gonna decorate like tonight. But hey y'all, please refrain from making fun of my part and my fingers. I know they're pink. I dyed my hair again yesterday and no, I didn't film it. I don't really know how to get the color out of my part. I'm assuming I just have to shower. My hands aren't as bad as they were yesterday. I used a new dye and I was not expecting this bitch to stain as much as it did. I've never had that big of a problem with a dye staining like everything that I've ever owned. My entire bathroom was covered in like pink and purple and I was kind of panicking. I got a lot of it off, but I can't get it off myself. So here we are. But okay, anyways, I'm back and I have more Let's Not Meet stories that I'm really excited to read. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I feel like I also just haven't really been uploading a lot, so I haven't done everything in a while. If you've never seen one of these videos before or you don't know what Let's Not Meet is, it's a subreddit where people can submit creepy stories that have happened to them, people that they don't want to meet. I know, crazy. I decided that the theme for this Let's Not Meet is going to be drunk stories. I was scrolling through it yesterday just for fun and I found one story that I really wanted to read, and so I just kept going through and I searched drunk and I found a million different stories. I feel like a lot of bad things tend to happen when people are drunk. I've had a lot of horrible things happen to me, and I'm pretty sure every single story that I could tell you that relates back to this, I've told before. But I'm gonna tell them again because it's me. I feel obligated to say once again, thank you for all the support on my last couple of videos. I don't know what's happening. I'm very thankful for everyone who subscribed and people who are coming back to watch my other videos. Like, hey, what the fuck is up? And then to all of my regulars, I'm sorry that I haven't really been reading comments or hearting your comments. I can't read them right now because they make me sad. There aren't that many bad comments, but I feel like it's very easy for the bad ones to outshine the good ones. And so I've just been training myself not to go on the app for now because it's not something that I need to see, but know that I love you. That was so lame. Okay, let's get started. I think I want to save the story that inspired me to film this video for the end because I'm horrible. And so I'm gonna start with this one. It says, the one time I saved a girl from being taken. So this happened when I was 19 or 20. I'm 31 now. I rarely drink or go out anymore. But last weekend, a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a couple of years asked me to go out. We ended up going to a club on the same street where the story took place, and it reminded me of it. The legal drinking age in Brazil is 18, so people here start partying really early. And let's face it, no one really knows their limits when they start drinking. My friends and I had gone to this club. I honestly can't remember the name right now, but I know it got closed down a couple years back. And we had a great time and the sun was coming up as we were leaving. Most clubs here give you a credit card when you walk in, where you either put in the money you plan on spending, or they work as a personal digital tab where bartenders add up what you're drinking and you pay for it on your way out. I actually thought that idea was really fucking cool. I think we should implement that here in America. I pay for my stuff and sit outside to wait for my friends, who were taking a long time to get out, probably due to being drunk as fuck. As I'm sitting there, I notice a car across the street. Two dudes in the front seat, one out of the car trying to make this clearly drunk, out of her mind girl get inside as well. She's mumbling, stumbling, struggling to keep her eyes open. She's saying, "No, I don't want to go," over and over, shaking her head, clinging onto the car door as the guy keeps telling her to let go and get inside. They're just gonna go to a friend's apartment to drink more. It'll be fun, come on. I watch, wondering if I should do something, if no one else is seeing what's happening. I look at the club security guard, he looks at me and shrugs, like it's not his responsibility. I look back at the girl and I'm really uncomfortable, but I'm also scared. My friends are still nowhere to be seen, I'm alone, the security guard is clearly not doing anything, and there's three guys. What if they decide to get me too? The girl says one more time that she doesn't want to go with them, and before I realize what I'm doing, I'm getting to my feet and shouting, "Hey." The guy stops trying to push the girl into the car for a moment and looks at me. She said she doesn't want to go, dude, I say, starting to make my way across the street, even though my hands are shaking and my voice is probably not the most convincing. She's our friend. She's just drunk and being cranky. It's all good. We're gonna take her home, he says. He seems a bit nervous and not exactly angry, which makes me feel a little bit better, or less scared. "Do you know them?" I ask her, and she just shakes her head no, using the door as support to keep herself on her feet. Creep number one, the one who was trying to push her into the car, looks at me, then to his friends, who seem frustrated, but start saying, "Come on, man, let's go, just leave it." Creep number one, now looking a little bit pissed, grabs the girl and pushes her towards me before getting into the car, and they all leave. The girl nearly falls on her face, but I grab her and we walk back to the front of the club, my heart slowly going back to its normal rate. Only then, I realized my friends had come out and were watching everything from across the street with confused faces. We all meet random people at the clubs, at the door, walking down the street, so they probably thought I'd met somebody. I start asking her what happened, if she was alone, where's all of her stuff, and she's an incoherent mess, mumbling about losing track of her friends, her purse. She doesn't even know how she paid her tab to leave. I asked for some help from the security guard, and he says he can't leave his spot and that he can't do anything. Okay, that's just bullshit. I explain what happened to my friends, and they talk to the hostess about it, who then goes and checks the lost and found. Her purse is thankfully there, minus the money she had in her wallet, and we managed to call her parents. I talked to her mom because the girl can't explain anything, and I promised to stay there until her mom comes to get her. 30 minutes later, her mom arrives. I've never seen somebody look so relieved and terrified at the same time. She thanks me and my friends profusely and offers us a ride home, but as we lived in the next town over, she just drives us to the subway station. In the middle of all the craziness, I forgot to exchange numbers with any of them, so I've never heard of the girl or her mom again. But I hope she learned to be more careful with how much she drinks or who she can talk to in clubs. Also, shame on her friends for not looking out for her or trying to find her when they realized she was missing, though maybe they were all just as drunk as she was, who knows. I know what I did was probably a bit reckless, but I wouldn't be able to just watch that car drive away and live with myself. Please be safe when going out, people. And creeps at nightclubs who take advantage of intoxicated people, let's never meet again. And they actually added, I'm also a girl, which is why I was so reluctant to do something. When I first read this story, I thought it was a guy, and so I was really confused. I was like, dude, just go over there and fucking save her. When I found out it was a girl, it's sad that it completely changes the story. Brazil hasn't been the safest place for women for a while now. Edit number 2, because what I said might have come out the wrong way. I'm in no way, shape, or form blaming her for what happened with the I hope she learned, etc. It wasn't meant as a see, that's what you get, or that she got what she deserved. I just meant that unfortunately we can't trust people, and maybe this was an eye-opener for her, as it was for me, a young girl myself, when this happened. Until people start treating others with the respect and care they deserve, we can only watch out for ourselves and do what we can to keep ourselves safe. That's what I meant, and maybe it was poorly worded. And then actually the first comment, this is like exactly what I was thinking. They said, what the fuck is with literally everybody except for you being a careless ass about the whole situation? The bouncer, hostess, like seriously? They said, good thing that you were around. That's exactly what I was thinking. How does a security guard, like you're a security... Why? Your job is to be security for the club. I don't think that means that you have to stand in one spot and you're not allowed to move from this one spot. What if something happens inside the club? Can you still not leave this spot? Like, there's a girl from across the street who just left your club and you're not gonna do anything about it? You're not gonna help her? Like, what's gonna happen if you walk away for 2 fucking seconds? One person's gonna get inside without your knowledge? Like, boo-hoo, you just saved someone's life potentially. And I don't know why the hostess would be so pissed off going to get this girl's bag. First of all, it's kind of your job. Like, you're there to attend to people coming into the club. Why are you angry that someone's like, both of them were just like angry that they had to do their job. And that's scary. Like, get people who actually want to be there and people who are willing to help you. Don't hire 2 people who don't give a shit about other human beings. Honestly though, good for you for going over there and standing up for this girl. It was very brave of you to walk up to these 3 men. Like, it takes a lot. I don't think you understand. Actually, you do understand because you were nervous at first, but you're amazing. I love you. And now let's move on to the next one. This one says, I think I was drugged by 2 men. And the reason, I've already read all of these all the way through, and normally I don't do that. Normally I like skim them and see if they're good stories so I could be like surprised on camera, but I read all of these because I was just like in a binge last night. This one reminded me a lot of something that happened to me, so I'm gonna tell that story after I read it. I'm pretty sure I've already told this, but that's fine. They said, when I was 21, I used to go bar hopping as college kids often do. It was a fun way to take the edge off of school. One night, it was freezing in the middle of March, and me and my friends took an Uber and landed in the middle of downtown. We started the night off at a popular bar. This place lined with stone in the rickety basement of an old hotel. Sorry if I can't speak right now. I ate a Hot Pocket earlier, and I burnt the shit out of my tongue, and every time I say certain words, I'm like I can't fucking talk right now. I can never talk, but I really can't talk right now. I film horrible videos for having the worst enunciation in the entire world. My friends grabbed a table while I still waited at the bar for my drink. The bar was packed on this night. Throngs of people, murmurs at tables, lots of chattering. Faces became blurry in the mix. As I was seated, 2 men came up to me and sat next to me, so I was in between them. From what I remember, one man had a beard and sort of a familiar face to me, like somebody had passed on the streets of my hometown before. I was from this town. The other was very blonde, slender, hawkish. His eyes seemed to move constantly, surveying his surroundings. The bearded man struck up a conversation with me and asked me for my name. We chatted briefly and lightly of some mundane things, where we'd gone to school, what we were up to now. We looked at each other when we talked. I found out he'd gone to the same high school as me, but a decade earlier. He seemed concerned I was only 21, his brow furrowed when I mentioned my age. And then the blonde man flirted with me, wrapped an arm around me, and leaned in super close so I could smell his breath, reeking furiously of alcohol. That's nasty. He had a slight accent, Russian maybe. I begged off somehow, turned around to plead with my friends, who were laughing and engaged with each other, and unaware of what was happening to me. Then I grabbed my drink, forced myself away from them, nonchalantly sipped, and sat at the table with my friends. I noticed both of them had turned to stare at me, so I looked away. I didn't think that much of the man's aggressive flirting, or how I'd been nearly trapped between them. a reason that when you go out, you get flirted with. It goes with the territory. About 20 minutes later, we agreed to depart from the bar. I scanned the crowd to see if the two men were there as I was leaving, but I didn't see them. Exactly half an hour following my one drink, my vision began getting blurry as we turned a corner to go to the next bar. My ears felt hot and my eyes began tearing up. Then an immediate sickness hit, waves of nausea, lightheadedness. I ran into the bathroom of a dive bar and vomited profusely into a toilet there. I remember feeling anger, confusion, sadness, and then the night dips out for me. I know I wasn't unconscious, but there's a long gap in my memory. My friends apparently called it a night seeing how sick I was. They wrapped me in a coat and we took an Uber back to their apartment. I slept there for about 14 hours, awakening late the next morning. I don't even remember sleeping. It was like a long interlude of death. Reflecting back on this, I'm pretty certain I was drugged by those two men. They saw me alone at a bar and they exploited my vulnerability. I've never had the same effects from drinking as I did that night, even as I've gotten blackout drunk. This was a profoundly different feeling than my typical sickness from alcohol. I don't remember the name of the bearded guy, sadly, and I've never seen either of them since. So those two men, let's never meet again, and screw you for scaring me away from something that was once enjoyable for me. That reminds me a lot of two different stories, and I'm not going to go into detail about the first one because I'm pretty sure I have an entire video on it. And by that I mean, I know I have an entire video on it. When I first moved to Dallas, we went out around Halloween time. So this was like 2 years ago. When I lived in Dallas, I would go out every week, sometimes a couple times a week. I don't drink anymore because I feel like I've had my fair share of fun and I've embarrassed myself enough, I think, for this lifetime. But like I said, when I first moved out there, we had gone to a couple different bars, and at one point, at the last bar we went to, my whole night just went completely black. I was with a group of my friends, but we had also met other people at the bar, as you do. I was being really dumb this night. I was sharing drinks with other people, like I was taking people's drinks and sipping from them. Like I know that I was being stupid. I was being incredibly irresponsible. And I was already pretty drunk at this point. But I remember asking my friend if he would walk me to the bathroom because I was the only girl in my friend group. And so I never wanted to go to the bathroom by myself, so one of them would always come with me and they would stand outside until I was done, then they'd walk me back to everyone else. And so he walked me to the bathroom, and I remember leaving the bathroom and seeing him, but it was almost like, I don't know, everything seemed so dark and then everything just completely blacks out. And I've blacked out from drinking before. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun experiences with drinking, and this was completely different. It's like your whole body goes numb and you cannot physically control anything anymore. I have a single memory of me sitting in the parking lot, and it's like all I could see was the concrete, and my legs were like leaning into my legs. My legs were spread open, but I was throwing up in between my legs, and my friend told me to move my foot or else I was gonna throw up on my shoe, and I couldn't even move my leg a little bit to the right so that I wouldn't throw up on it. And I don't know if I was drugged. I'm like 90% sure, but I feel like I can't be like, oh yeah, I was drugged, because I have no idea. But like I said, it was completely different than just getting too drunk or blacking out when you get too drunk. And then there was another time I was in Denton, and there's like this strip of college bars that we used to go to all the time. They were so much fun. Actually, that's like, if I miss anything from Dallas, that's it. And we were at this one place, and it was like me and a couple of my friends, but two of us were sitting at these high top tables, and these two guys come over and they're sitting next to me, like they're way too fucking close to me. And I'm not a huge fan of guys just like approaching you at a bar and immediately being like this close to you. It's like, I understand, like, you want to come up and you want to talk, that's fine. Like, let's introduce ourselves first before you decide to get into my personal space. And so these two guys are way too close to me, and I feel like it's the same as that story. One guy tries to keep eye contact with you for like as long as possible, and then this other guy's over here just being a fucking weirdo. And then they also had another friend, a third guy. And so while I'm talking to these two guys, the third guy walks by and he stops and says something to this guy while I'm talking to this one, and then it's like he reaches over the table. And so I'm like 99% sure that he slipped something into my drink. Literally, they got up and walked away right after that. That's the thing too, is it was almost immediate. Right when he drugged my drink, they all got up and just like walked away. And I was like, okay, see ya, like, what the fuck? So I picked up my drink and I threw it away. I was like, I don't even want to risk it. What the fuck? So basically, moral of the story, please just be aware of your surroundings and don't talk to weird men, and don't let weird men get too close to your drink. I'm gonna read two more. This one says, creepy guy that followed me to 2 bars and tried to follow me home. I live downtown in a town in the Midwest. There's a lot of bars. There's a couple bars that I like to go to that I've been going to for about 7 months now, and I almost know all of the employees. I was already a little buzzed when I went out around 11:30. I wanted to see a good friend of mine who works the second shift. I ended up hanging out for a bit, talking and drinking. I I hadn't seen them in a while, so we drank quite a bit more. I walked them home to their apartment and went to Bar B, which is across the street from their complex. I saw another friend there, ended up talking, and we finished a half-drink pitcher of Miller. This is where creepy guy comes in. Now I'm already kind of drunk, and I'm a pretty friendly person in bars when drunk. I'll wave to people, buy them a beer, talk, and hang out. I mean, it's culture in my state. I feel like that's just like bar culture. I feel like people are just nice and you just meet friends because you're drunk. He waved from across the bar. I put a song on touch tunes he must have liked. I waved back, being friendly, and the guy comes over to start talking to me. He asked if I go out often. I stated I'm a regular, and for a while Bar A was like my second home. My friend told me they were leaving, so I wished them a good night and made sure they got their cab. I start to walk over to Bar A when creepy guy catches up to me and says he loves going to Bar A too. I shrugged it off at this point. We got to Bar A, I sat in one of my 3 spots and the creepy guy sat next to me. I got up a couple minutes after he tried to make small talk and walked to the bathroom. When I was done, I sat away from him in a different spot, but he moved over to me. At that point, I was pretty drunk. I got up and moved again, this time because I wanted to let my bartender friend clean the place that I was sitting. It was getting close to bar time as well. I told the bartender that the guy was making me uncomfortable. He let me stay after closing to make sure the creepy guy had left. When I walked out about 15 minutes later, the creepy guy had waited for me. He asked if he could walk me home. I told him no politely. It was only a mile walk. I called up my boyfriend right after and told him quietly about what was going on. He told me to hurry home and keep him on the line. I told him the guy was still following me. I picked up my pace and he picked up his pace. He called to me twice, asking if I wanted to be walked home. I told him my boyfriend was on the phone and I would be fine. The last time he stopped me, he put his hand on my shoulder and I pulled out my pepper spray and told him if he didn't stop following me, I would spray him in a very firm tone. After that, the guy just fucked off somewhere else and I woke up in bed the next morning with a pounding hangover. So yeah, creepy guy at the bar, I hope we never meet again. I know you're a regular, so I'll make sure to have protection on and with me. Someone commented, sucks you can't even be friendly to some people without them deciding that you're their soulmate. It's so fucking true. It's so pathetic. I don't understand how people mistake friendliness for flirtiness. I will never understand that. I really need to get pepper spray. I used to have some. My mom got it for me for Christmas one year, I'm pretty sure. It was like bedazzled. I don't know what happened to it, which is probably dangerous. I think it's here somewhere, like it's just buried somewhere. But I need to get another one because I'm constantly paranoid and I feel like it would like relieve some of the paranoia off my shoulders. I need to get some. Okay, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is one of the most ridiculous stories that I think I've ever read on Let's Not Meet. This reminds me so much of the movie Hostel. I was like shitting my pants reading this story. Like it almost doesn't seem true, but I know that it is because Let's Not Meet delete stories that aren't true. I think that, I'm pretty sure the moderators do that. Like if the story is so fucking ridiculous, so unbelievable, or they don't have proof, they usually delete the stories because everything has to be real. Here we go. This one says, the time I was kidnapped and escaped after about an hour. I was visiting my friend in Budapest that was working at a hostel. We ended up going out and drinking pretty heavily and meeting up with these 2 girls. We hung out with them through the night and offered to walk them back to their place. When we got there, my friend who had a girl on lock was like, I'll just come back with you. I just kept being like, dude, you've got a girl that wants you to come up to her place. It's a short walk from here to get home, just stay. He kept saying no, and I jokingly was like, well, you can't leave with me if you can't find me, and I started running away. I'm a pretty stupid drunk, but it was funny at the time. Anyways, I ran for a few minutes and quickly lost my bearings, had an empty wallet and no phone. I just thought, aw shit, I'll wander, spot a landmark and find my way home from there. Hell, I'll sleep on the street. I was walking for 30 minutes at this point, really drunk. A car pulled up and a guy yelled at me in Hungarian. I just replied, sorry man, English only, and laughed. He was parked and I was chilling, so we talked for a few minutes. He seemed alright and was like, dude, I could take you back to your hostel. I said yes and went to hop in the back. There were 2 guys back there that I couldn't see through the tinted windows. These guys were both super tatted up and very thug looking. I was too drunk to run if they were gonna rob me, so I put on a brave face and got in. They start driving and I immediately realized something's going on. Basically, Budapest was 2 separate cities on either side of the river, Buda and Pest. We were on the Pest side, and we almost immediately crossed over, and I knew I didn't live on that side. So I was kind of like, hey man, my hostel's in Pest. Why are we going into Buda? And they all just laugh and go quiet again. Finally, the driver pipes up and says, man, no one knows where you went tonight. What would you do if we tried to beat you up? They're all laughing. I check my door handle and it's child locked. I kind of feigned being sick and rolled down my window, slightly leaning out. The whole time they're talking, saying that they could kill me and nobody would even know, that I didn't even know where I was. I just remember looking at my feet and being like, if you guys try anything tonight, I know you'll hurt me or maybe kill me, but I promise I will kill one of you with me. I swear on my life that I will make it happen. And they would laugh. We keep getting further out of the city, almost to the point of no buildings. We keep going back and forth with reds when we hit a red light. Everyone in the car was kind of at ease. They thought I was too drunk to do anything. I leaned out the window, grabbed the handle from the outside, popped the door open and fell backwards onto the pavement, rolled and just started running. The car was stopped for a second, but I was shouting, so they just peeled away. It was around 4 or 5 a.m. I think some guys playing Pokemon Go. This was like when it was at peak, so there were a lot of people playing it, thank God. I find guys playing Pokemon Go who look terrified that this bleeding drunk guy is approaching. I explain my situation and they're super sympathetic. They call me a cab. I take the cab back to the hostel. All I had was $20 Canadian in my wallet and I begged the driver to take it. He does. I get to my room as the sun rises. My friend asked me what happened. Apparently I just said, got kidnapped, sleep till tomorrow, and passed out in my bed. I was reading some of the comments and apparently it is really dangerous to walk by yourself, especially at night in Budapest. But I have never read something so horror movie-ish in my entire life. If I was sitting in a car when I'm drunk as fuck because I trusted these men to just like take me home, which I would never do, but like let's say that I did, and then they just start talking about how they could kill me, nobody would know, oh my god, I'd be like, I'm dead. Like I don't know what to do anymore, I'm dead. He's a fucking genius for thinking about opening his car door from the outside because the child lock was on. The brain power, oh my god, the drunk brain power that this man has, it's incredible. I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that nothing happened to you, and I feel like these stories just keep reminding me why I don't drink anymore, or why I don't go out past like 10 p.m. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have all the stories linked down below. If you guys have any other like topics that you want me to look for in Let's Not Meet, let me know. I've done Tinder stories, crazy ex stories. This is now drunk slut. This is like kind of travel stories. I feel like we were in different places in some of these stories, but I do want to make travel stories. I've done Uber. I feel like I've done a lot, but if you have more categories, let me know. But other than that, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Please be safe. Don't drink. Let's not drink anymore. Let's just ban alcohol, and then none of these things will ever happen ever again. Just kidding. I'm probably gonna end up filming my Christmas video very soon because I can't keep looking at this stuff and not set it out. It's just not physically possible. But I love you guys. Oh my god. But I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye. You guys want to see something that I got? I want to show you. This is going to be the one reveal, the one thing that I show you before my Christmas video. I saw this and I immediately was like, if I don't buy this, then I'm just stupid and ugly. This also might be the lamest thing that I've ever purchased. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I hate myself. Oh my god! I have to cover my hands because I can't handle the pink. Look how cute my little reindeer is. This is the cutest fucking thing. This was $12 and I'm ashamed, but he has a face. Oh my god, wait, he literally has a face. I didn't even notice that before. Focus. This is the most perfect thing I've ever purchased. I think I'm just gonna wear him like this all winter long. I'm going to glue him to my shoulders so that he can never leave my side. I thought I was gonna drop him and break him. If he broke, I think I'd start crying. There were multiple different reindeers and this is the one that called to me. Okay, I'm sorry, this is fucking weird. I'm always like, the world is scary, people are so weird, and then I exist. I'm gonna go. I fucked up my hair because of my reindeer. Okay, see ya.